Hi, everyone. We are back with the Connecticut Film and TV Conference 2024, and I am here with Disney actor Chase Dillon. Hi, Chase.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm so glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. You are so talented. I've been doing a little bit of research on you. I wanted to know how you ended up in Connecticut, first of all. I know you were born in Louisiana,
I was.
so tell me a little bit about that.
So I've been living in Connecticut since I can remember. I don't even remember Louisiana. But um, so my parents just so happened to be in Louisiana, and they were there for like some type of family thing, and then next thing you know, I was born.
Oh,
So they were already living in Connecticut, but I was just born in Louisiana, and then they came back to Connecticut, and then I've been living in Connecticut. So I'm basically from Connecticut.
right.
But yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's funny how like just random.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
born in Louisiana. Okay, so and that's very. It's like two different worlds, right? Connecticut, Louisiana. So a little bit about you. You were just in Haunted Mansion. How was that? Tell me a little bit about that.
Haunted Mansion was incredible. We filmed that for a year and some change. So it was a long shoot, but it was a great shoot at the same time because my castmates, Tiffany Haddish, Danny DeVito, Lakeith Stanfield, Jamie Lee Curtis, Owen Wilson. It's just a whole bunch of them. But we spent a year together, and can't forget my mama, Rosario Dawson. But yeah, we spent the whole year together. We did a whole bunch of fun things. And one thing about me, when I go on the set, I'm the party person.
Oh, sure.
So every time we get a break or weekend, I say, "Hey y'all, party at the Airbnb or party at wherever." So I'm always the one who's throwing parties, to bring everybody together and kind of develop that great on set relationship. So every set that I step foot on, I make family and make great friends.
That's really awesome. I'm sure they appreciate that from you, especially you being the youngest one, right? Like
Yeah.
on set, or you to be the one bringing everybody together. That's awesome. Tell me a little bit about your day when you have to shoot. I feel like many parents are hesitant, right, when they have a child that wants to get into acting or maybe interested, because there have been so many scandals and the TV film industry. There's so many dark things that may happen or have happened. What is it like for you? And do you bring your parents along? Like, what does it look like for you?
Well, one thing I always have done since the first time I got into it, I was born into a Christian family, right? So, my mom, she used to preach all around the world. She still does, so she preaches at different churches. And so, I would be right there with her, and, I kind of sunk into me. And, I'm still trying to build a great relationship with God. So, that's definitely one of the things that I definitely kept in mind, keeping God first. And that was the only thing I could do, because of how, dark it can get in the industry. It can get very dark. There's a lot of, demonic things that are in the industry that you really do need God in your life for to definitely get away from. But other than that, it's been a crazy run, great run, crazy great run. I go on set, have school, have to, yeah. And it's funny because since I'm a kid, yeah, I can only spend a certain amount of time on set. I can only be on set at a certain time. I can only be in smoke for a certain amount of time, and I have to go to school in between of shooting. So it's a lot of elements that go into it. But I definitely, I one thing I can say, when I go on set, I never want to leave. And back with the party stuff and the family dynamic that I have with my castmates and crewmates, every time I go on set, it's like I just don't want to leave, like, at all. So it's just, I just love to do it.
Okay, so just got the chills. I don't know if the camera can touch this out. I get the chills because I understand what that feels like,
Yeah.
right? And I think when you hear negative things about the industry and children working in the industry, like I don't see that. I see so much positive, and people are looking out for the kid that's on set, right?
Yeah.
That it really, to my soul, like I'm like, no, that's not what it's like. That's not what it's like. And I don't want parents to be deterred from allowing their children to explore, right, acting and all these things in the industry because of the negative things that you hear about all the time. So I'm so glad that you touched on that, and I'm sure your parents are kind of like, oh, keeping an eye on him, like, are always around. Someone's always there with you to
Oh, yeah.
support, your craft.
My
So
mom, she always makes sure that I'm good, and, just a circle of aunties and uncles that I have, they just make sure I'm guarded and protected, and especially that I'm under the spirit of the Lord. So, that definitely helps, but I definitely say don't be scared. Just keep God in your life, and God has you. He has all of us, and as long as, you have Him, He got you.
that's amazing, and so I think you touched on, having a family. I think you have a big family, right? You have 2 brothers, you have an older brother and sister. Tell me what that's like being the actor in the family.
Well, it's definitely great, my little brothers, twins, they're 8, and, they wanna do, different stuff. They see me every time I get a self-tape, they see me doing a slate, and they're like, "Hi, my name is Cyrus Dillon, and I'm 8 years old," but, they, take after me, and they try to do what I do, but, there's a lot of stuff that they look into doing. They wanna act, one wanna be a police officer, one wanna be a basketball player, both wanna be a basketball player, now they wanna be a scientist. So, like, it's just a whole bunch of stuff that they wanna do, so, but I definitely, think that I wanna be a role model for them, for sure. I wanna do right by them. I wanna, make sure I'm that person that they can always have to, look after, and you see what they can do and what they're capable of, and love all of my siblings, and every time I go to like a family event, I'll be like the actor of the family, so everybody's like, "Oh my god, Shay, it's Shay." But yeah, it's great.
That's awesome that you have so much support.
Yeah.
I heard you mention self-tapes, right? So you have to share about self-tapes because many people may not know what that is, especially people that are watching that are just stepping into the industry or are curious about what happens. Can you talk a little bit about what a self-tape is?
Yeah, so a self-tape is basically when your agent or manager sends you an audition, and you have to put it on tape so the casting directors can see, the director or whoever's doing the movie can see, how you act, and to see if you would be the right fit for the TV show or movie or whatever they're doing. So, it's the type of thing where you set the camera up, get behind a cool, white plain background. You gotta wear plain clothes. You can't, wear like a graphic T-shirt or like anything. Just plain clothes, and just do what you have to do. So yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like since COVID, the self-tape just come in, like, there's not many live auditions anymore.
Oh
There's a lot of self-taped auditions, and it's like, "Okay, I got another one, I got" and sometimes it's like, "Oh, you have an hour to do this," and it's like, "Ah, well, yeah, I gotta
that's
drop everything."
that's all I used to do. In person auditions. I'd be back and forth to New York
Yeah,
doing auditions. That's all I.
yeah, to the train, whew.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes we took the train. Sometimes my dad, put the twins in the car and just drove me and my mom to New York. We do the audition and get back in the car and drive back. But yeah, it was definitely a lot. But my parents, they support me like crazy. They're really supportive, and they just make sure I'm put in that place to do what I want, and do what I love. And they never ever looked past, my talent, and they never looked past, oh, you're not, we're not gonna do that because it's too much.
And that's
Just
so
because you want to do it, it's too much. We can't. No, they never done that. They're like, if you want to do it, go for it.
and that's so important in this industry because there is a lot of no, right? You hear a lot of there's a lot of rejection, a lot of no's, so you do need that support, right? And to have parents that are kinda like, "Nope, just go,
Yeah,
keep
and
going."
that's what I had, younger.
Mhm.
Kids are brutal. You
Mhm.
know, yeah, I've had a lot of kids bully me when I was younger, and I definitely, it hurt, right? But I still carried on what I wanted to do. A lot of people said I couldn't do what I'm doing now, and I just thank God from how successful I am, and to bless me with more success on my rise up in the industry. So, but yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people telling you can't do something, and you don't believe them. You just do what you want to do. See how it is. You have to see for yourself. You can't let somebody else dictate how it's going to how whatever you want to do is going to, be for you. You have to see that for yourself. So I saw it through. I had my parents tell me, don't listen to them. Do what you want to do.
That's
And then I saw it through, and here I am.
and you have a bunch of projects that you've worked on, and I know that you're working on an animated
I
theater.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tell me about that.
That is called Pinecone and Pony. Yeah, we 2 seasons are out. So we did that.
What network?
That is on Apple TV.
Okay.
I'm about to say Apple Music. Oh, well, Apple TV. But yeah, we did that. I don't know how long ago that was, but oh yeah, during COVID. It was like at the peak to mid COVID.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
Where everybody's masked up, you gotta get tested before you get on set, like the whole.
but the funny thing was, the people that were doing the film were all in Vancouver, Canada. So it was either I go to Canada for like a few months to do it, or I stay here and just go to, the recording studio that is, by me. And so I just, stayed here and recorded it, and we just was on Zoom. And so we did the whole thing. So it was an amazing shoot,
Who was your character? Tell me a little bit about
Hawthorne.
Hawthorne. Okay.
Hawthorne. So Hawthorne is he's a wizard. Well, he's an aspiring wizard. He wants to be the best wizard to ever step foot on earth. But so yeah, he's a wizard, and then his best friend Pinecone, who is she's like a American Ninja Warrior type thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's a warrior. That's what she is. She's a warrior. So she trains herself to be a warrior. So it's basically different dynamics of wanting to do something, but they come together. And then Pinecone has her little pony that is also her best friend. So it's a great kids animation. If you have some kids, definitely go watch it with your kids. It's
That sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, so last question. In 5 years, where will Chase Dillon be?
5 years. What would I do? I don't know. I could tell you now. I'm a writer and director, so I have 30 movies and TV shows that I wrote. So we're about to go in production with those. So in 5 years, I'll probably have some movies out. Um, I have a clothing brand. I'm wearing it.
Awesome.
So my clothing brand will probably skyrocket. Hopefully, pray to God. Pray to God
Right.
that it be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'll be doing a lot of stuff. I definitely try to put more stuff into my resume. So I try to do a lot of stuff, and definitely challenge myself to do different things that earlier I wasn't thinking of doing. But I'm like, I see something, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. Challenge myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, in 5 years, we'll see.
That's awesome. Tell everybody how they can reach out to you. Social media.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Chase W Dillon, Dillon, and you can follow, if you want to follow my clothing brand, you can follow it at Project Interstellar __ on Instagram.
Thank you so much for being with me today.